In 2025, the internet is full of loud screams, fake pranks, and people desperate for your attention. But one man refused to play that game.
Luke here with the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel, and I'm deep in the Alaskan mountains.
A guy who didn't ask for likes. A guy who turned down millions of dollars in sponsorships. A guy who drove a Kia Sportage despite making millions of dollars a year. His name is Luke Nichols, the creator of Outdoor Boys.
Hey everyone, this is going to be my last video for a little while.
And then he disappeared. In May 2025, at the absolute peak of his career, pulling over 100 million views a month, he walked away. No explanations, no farewell, just silence. Everyone assumed burnout. Everyone thought he was done, but they were wrong. Luke Nichols just broke his silence.
I always knew that I wasn't going to do this forever. You know, the idea of me being out 60, 70 years old, you know, like, click subscribe, you know, just like, that's not, you know, this is being a YouTuber is probably analogous to being a professional athlete. You know, it's not a career that most people grow old in, you know, and so I've always kind of knew that there would be an end to it. And I've been thinking about retiring for a couple years, actually, you know.
6 months passed, and then out of nowhere, he came back.
Hello, my name is Luke Nichols, and this is the My Life Outdoors YouTube channel. And no, you're not imagining things. This is not my YouTube channel.
Luke didn't upload to Outdoor Boys. He showed up on a tiny channel called My Life Outdoors, and everyone wondered why here? Why now? Why this channel? The reason hurts to hear.
Maybe almost 2 months ago, I put out a video updating everybody about stuff that was going on in my own life. Earlier this year, my wife was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Shortly after that, so she had her thyroid removed, and we thought, okay, like, done, cancer cured. And a little bit after that, she went in for a routine mammogram, found a mass in her breast, and they wanted to biopsy it, and turned out to be ductal carcinoma, which is the best case scenario when it comes to breast cancer. And then found another mass. It was a different type of breast cancer, triple negative breast cancer. That has put us on a really long journey of treatment and fatigue and, I mean, just all kinds of stresses, I'm sure you can imagine.
You guys may have heard that Steven's wife was recently diagnosed with cancer. So right now, Steven's got a lot on his plate, taking care of his wife and his 4 kids. So I thought I might step in and do a little YouTube video for him so he can worry about one thing at a time. And so here I am in the interior of Alaska with no tent, no sleeping bag, and I'm gonna be sleeping in the middle of a snowstorm.
That's the reality. Steven's wife isn't battling stress. She's fighting for her life. And while Luke was sitting at home, officially retired, he saw that video. He could have wired money. He could have sent a supportive text and disappeared back into silence. But Luke Nichols understands something most influencers never will. That is, influence isn't fame, it's power. He knew that if he showed up on that small channel, we'd follow him there, driving views, generating revenue, and that money could help pay for the treatment that might save his wife.
A little more than a month ago, you sent me an email saying that you wanted to make a video for my channel. What prompted you to send that email?
Well, you know, I saw your video about your wife's diagnosis, and, you know, as a content creator, it hit a nerve because it is hard to communicate to people how intense the schedule can be and how the amount of pressure that running a full-time YouTube channel can generate, you know, and it's not hard to put yourself in someone's shoes and realize that's rough. It's a rough spot, and you know, I stepped away from my channel and, you know, kind of retired this last spring, and really a good chunk of the motivation was to try to, you know, be a little bit more useful to society.
Luke didn't step back into the spotlight for himself. He stepped in front of it for a friend, and in that interview, he finally told the truth about why he disappeared. It wasn't about having more time. It was about escaping the poison that comes with fame.
I mean, and that's what really was amazing to me is that, you know, I mean, the things that people were commenting weren't necessarily these big profound things. Some were, but some of it was just like, I can comment. It's like, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, like I just can't believe that I can comment. And so a lot of love and a lot of praise for you, obviously. And so what did you go through? Did you read it in the comments? I mean, what was it like having comments turned on?
I am not an advocate for having comments. I think they are wildly unhealthy, and a lot of people think that that's because of the criticism. And I think having that much attention is not healthy for human beings. And there are sweet poisons and there are bitter poisons. And I think criticism is a bitter poison, but praise can be a sweet one.
Praise is a sweet poison. That might be one of the most honest things a YouTuber has ever said. Because when millions praise you every day, you don't become stronger, you become addicted. Luke saw that happening and chose to escape. But even after retiring, the damage lingered. He says the hardest part was something called phantom camera syndrome. The feeling that even when the camera is gone, you're still performing.
The weirdest part about retiring is phantom camera syndrome. I call it, like, you've heard of people when they get amputated limbs, they can feel their limbs. Like, I get phantom camera syndrome. Well, I'll be doing random things and I'll go to adjust the camera, you know, because I'm constantly moving the camera and there's no camera there. And I'm like, and I have this urge to like go and hit stop and record because, you know, I'm just doing that constantly. And I'm so used to doing it while I work for 11 years.
He compares it to an amputated limb. After 11 years of filming everything, he still reaches for a camera that isn't there. But despite that, he's happy. He slept on frozen ground one last time, not for views, not for content, but for kindness.
Thank you for being a really good friend. Thank you for the help of the channel and the support of my family and all that. I know that it may not be good for you, but you're to hear it all the time, but you are a good guy.
It was the best deal I've made. I slept on the ground for one night and I made a good friend. That's a good deal. I'll take that deal all day long.
In 2025, creators are getting arrested for views, scamming their own fans, and doing anything for attention. And then there's Luke Nichols, someone who walked away from a fortune for his family and stepped back into the spotlight only to help a friend. But to truly understand Luke's decisions, you have to go back to where it all started. He was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska. This wasn't some influencer who moved there for content. This was his actual life. Growing up in one of America's most rough environments, Luke learned essential survival skills from his grandfather and father. We're talking about real outdoor skills are passed down through generations.
There you go, you can see how much tannin's in there. The tannin doesn't make it unsafe to drink, it just makes it taste funny. But you still have to boil it in case there's bacteria in there.
He isn't a content creator who moved to Alaska for YouTube. He's the real deal. At just 19 years old, Luke Nichols left everything familiar and spent 2 years in Japan as a Mormon missionary. That decision didn't just change his location, it changed who he became. Leaving Alaska and immersing himself in a completely different culture taught Luke how to truly connect with people, share stories, and see the world through different perspectives. Those skills later became the backbone of his YouTube success. Luke Nichols didn't start out as a creator. After returning to the United States, he launched a political consulting business long before YouTube was ever part of the plan.
But after I graduated, I actually started a political consulting business and I ran political campaigns in Utah for about 2-3 years.
But the non-stop travel and lack of family time eventually pushed Luke to walk away. He shut down his political consulting business, moved to Virginia, and went to law school at George Mason. By 2011, Luke had built Spectrum Legal Defense into one of Virginia's top traffic law firms. Most people would have stopped there. Luke didn't. In 2013, while running a full law practice, he started a YouTube fishing channel called Catfish and Carp. 2 years later, he launched Outdoor Boys. His routine was insane. Court during the day, editing videos at night, filming on weekends. He was working 2 full-time careers at once and somehow making both succeed. And this is where Luke became different from every other YouTuber. When Outdoor Boys started taking off, he could have sold out instantly, sponsors everywhere, easy money, but he didn't, because Luke cared more about building a real connection with his audience than maximizing profit.
We're gonna make some good beans here. It rains over 270 days out of the year here, and I'm excited for dinner.
While other creators were flexing supercars, Luke kept driving his Kia Sportage. That's the level of authenticity we're talking about. That's why people trusted him. In 2020, Luke finally went full-time on YouTube, and by early 2024, something incredible happened. Outdoor Boys pulled in 100 million views in a single month. Then in just 18 months, the channel gained over 12 million subscribers, skyrocketing from a niche favorite to one of the biggest outdoor channels on YouTube. And when you watch his videos, you feel it. Luke doesn't just show adventures, he pulls you into them. You feel what he feels.
Want to go to the bomber crash site? I've got to climb 2,500 vertical feet up over that saddle, and there's a foot of ice and snow on those rocks. The greenish yellow inner bark of a willow has aspirin in it. They're not ripe yet. tired and thirsty, and this tea just hits the spot.
Every trip demands serious planning, backup plans, safety protocols, emergency gear. Because out there, one wrong move, one small miscalculation, and everything can go wrong in seconds.
Logs are getting hot, pine sap bubbling out of them.
That's a big deal. That happens a lot. Like, yeah, because what happens is when you first put the woods there, they're cold, they're wet, whatever, and they'll be fine. But sometimes over a case of a day or two, they'll dry out, and then stuff that wouldn't have caught fire will. So you can be in a shelter like that for a day or two, no problem. Then all of a sudden, poof, underneath the car, and the car is being supported by snow, right? And I just dug the snow out.
I didn't even think about that.
So if the sides of the snow collapses and that truck lands on me while I'm kneeling underneath it, I get pinned to the ground and I just sit there and freeze to death.
The fact that he's done this for years without a major incident says everything. That doesn't happen by luck. It happens because he's skilled, disciplined, and careful. Luke isn't a YouTuber pretending to be an outdoorsman. Luke Nichols is the real deal with decades of real-world experience behind every decision he makes. And that's why what happened next shocked everyone. In May 2025, Luke stepped away from YouTube.
This is gonna be my last video for a little while.